Hey everyone, it's Kathy and you're back here in my craft room and on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I want to thank you again for tuning in, for being a part of my crafty family. I love you guys so much, and today we are going to work with a stamp set that I just got, and it was one that I kind of debated over, and I believe it's on page 43 in my catalog. Oh, not 43. Okay, let me look again. Maybe it was 40 something. Oh, here it is. It is this one that is called Bird's Eye View. And this is such a cute little stamp set. They're very cartoonish looking little birds, but they remind me of owls for whatever reason. So we're going to make one. We're going to use these books. We're going to use this owl, I believe, and we're going to kind of do this up. It even has a monocle. You've got two different sets of glasses that you can use on your birds, and you got the monocle. I think it's so cute. You also have a limb with some leaves that you can decorate if you like. It's a very simple stamp set, but I think you can do a lot with this. So let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to cut us a card base, and I have 3 different pieces of paper here. I have a half a sheet of black. We're going to use this for a mat. I have a sheet of white. We're just going to need a little bit off of this, and I have a sheet of pecan pie, and we're going to make a card base out of this by cutting it in half. I have an embossing folder. This is the basic set that's in the online exclusives, and this is that little cross patch pattern, and we're going to use that. So with all that being said, let me go ahead and get some of this out of my way so we can go ahead and cut. The first thing I want to do is cut my card base. So I'm going to put this in on the 11-inch side, and I'm going to bring it over here to 5.5, and 5.5 is right there. So I'm going to slice this in half right here. And I'm going to lay this piece over to the side because we're going to score that in just a minute. I'm going to need a 4-inch piece off of the white. So I'm going to bring that to 4 and slice. And I'm also going to need to turn it and bring it to 5 1/4. This is going to be a mat for the front of our card. So that's going to be our mat. And this piece, I think it's going to be a little bit too small. Let me double check. Maybe I can get this out of here. I can. And this piece is 3 3/4 by 3. Okay. So 3 3/4 this way. So 3 3/4. And then we're going to turn it in the other direction and cut it down to 3. And that worked out great because that gave me everything I needed out of that one little piece of paper. And then we need the black, and we need this to be 4 by 3 1/4. So let's go here and get our 3 1/4. All the measurements will be on my blog, and you can actually tune into my blog by clicking under the video. Under the description, you'll see a little drop down that says see more, and you can go there and you can actually go to the PDF tutorial on my blog under this dated video, and you'll see everything there that you need, and you can actually I need to cut this to 4. Evidently I can't walk and chew gum. So let me make sure that that is right, because I want this to mat on top of this, and that looks really good. Okay, let's do our next thing, and that's get my scoreboard, because we're going to score our card base. And this is the Simply Score scoring tool, and I'm going to put this in on the 8.5-inch side, and I'm going to use my little tool that clicks into the bottom of the base of this scoreboard, and we're going to come to 4 1/4, and we're just going to give it a nice score. And I'm going to turn it over because I like to fold into that raised edge. That gives me a much better fold when I do it that way. And that is our card base. And the other thing, see what I mean about the scoreboard, it has a little place down here so you never lose your stylus. It just clicks right in. All of the products that I use in this video will also be linked on the PDF tutorial along with the order numbers and everything. Let me silence my phone. It is trying to go crazy on me. and it's nothing here that I need to be concerned about right now. So we got that taken care of. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to use my bone folder, and I want to crease this down really well, just like that. And we're going to lay this over to the side, and I'm going to bring out my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Oops, sorry about the noise. When I moved my machine, my scoreboard fell over. So I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and hopefully I'll remember to zoom back in. Okay, so then open this up, and we are going to be embossing a 3D folder, and this is a 3D folder, and we are going to emboss this white piece that is 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to put this in. Let's see if I can get it open. Just like this, and we have a little registration mark. See that black line right here? That is perfect to line up your paper, your cardstock, and I'm bringing it right down to that line, just like that, and then I'm going to close the folder, and I'm going to put this in on my number 1 plate, and I'm going to cover it with my specialty plate, which is the number 4 plate. So cover that with that, and then just crank that through. It's going to be a little bit tight, but it will go through, and it's going to give you a beautiful embossed look. So let's do that. And I don't think we're going to need our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine anymore, so we're going to go ahead and tuck this away. And there is our emboss piece. Isn't that gorgeous? Can you see that detail? I'm going to flip my other light on if I can reach it. Yeah, I think this gives us a little bit, oh yeah, I think that helps quite a bit. So there is the embossed piece that we're going to use on top of our pecan pie. So this is going to get glued down right here on top of that. The other piece, the other 2 pieces, I should say, are going to be right here. We're going to stamp on the white piece. So before we go any further and before I put anything together, I'm going to lay that up there, and I'm going to get my stamps. And I'm going to actually use the We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press. I feel like this piece really does need to be in a stamp positioner, and since we can't get the Stamparatus anymore, I had found these, and if you're interested in a stamp positioning tool and you don't have one, there'll be a link underneath this video and under the description. If you scroll all the way down, you'll see my affiliate links, and you will have a link for this. You can click right there and go directly to it. And I'm going to take a cloth. This helps this from sliding on my glass surface. If you don't have a glass mat, you probably won't have that problem, but this has a tendency to want to slide. When I put it on the cloth, it doesn't slide around it quite as much. So the first thing I want to do is I want to stamp my books, and I'm going to bring those down to right about there, and I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my precision press, just like that. And now putting that in that corner, always bringing it up into that corner, I'm going to know that it's positioned perfect. I am going to throw a magnet on it just for my own peace of mind, I guess you could say. And I am going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm going to go ahead and ink up these books. And the reason I'm using the Memento is we're going to do some alcohol coloring on this, and I want it to be a nice ink that I can color without getting a bleed. And the Memento, because it's a dye ink and not a pigment ink, it allows me to do that. So I'm giving that a good press and lift it up. Beautiful. And I'm going to go ahead and take my cloth, and I'm going to spray a little bit of my Stampin' Mist. This is great stamp cleaner. And I'm just going to put a little bit on my cloth, and I'm going to clean that off just like that. when using the Stampin' Mist, they clean, your stamps just clean so well. Alright, the next thing I want to do is I want to take the magnet off, and I'll move the magnet down here. And now I want to position my little bird on top of the books like that, like his little feet are sitting right there on the birds. And then we are going to line this back up, press it down, pick up that stamp, make sure we're keeping it in that corner so we get the right positioning, and turn it back over, and Memento ink once again, and I'm going to ink up my little birdie. Something like that. And then we're going to turn him over and position your tool right where you had it and give that a good little press. This stamp positioning tool is not a very expensive piece. I think it's like $25, and this thing works beautifully every time. I love it. Since we can no longer buy the Stamparatus, don't get me wrong, the Stamparatus was the most awesome stamp positioner that you could ever use, but Stampin' Up! Was forced to take it off of the market because another company has a patent on what they consider quote-unquote a stamp positioner. And they have gone after just about everybody in the stamping world that has come out with any type of platform, which in some ways I get it, in other ways it does not make me happy. Alright, the next thing I want to do, and I think these are so cute, we got glasses for a bird. Look how stinking cute that is. I'm going to position those little glasses right over top of that owl where I want them to go. I'm going to go ahead and take off my owl, and then I'm going to bring my platform back down and pick up that and put that back in the corner just like it was. Photopolymer stamps will a lot of times pick your paper up, so if you got a stamp positioning tool, just make sure your paper is back where you originally started it at, and you shouldn't have any problems. So I'm going to ink up those little spectacles. I love those little round ones. I think they're so cute on the bird. And we're going to lift this up and then bring this back down, and we're going to put little glasses on our bird. How stinking cute is that? I love it when you've got little characters like this that you can work with and make them just oh so cute with the different little things that come in the stamp set. So we got that done. So I'm going to move my ink so I don't get my hand in it. And I'm going to take my stamps and just sit them over here for right now. I'm going to clean this one off. Got a little bit of ink on my platform, but that's okay. Or my stamping plate. This is, and you can buy more of these. You can pick up several of these. So if you're doing more than one type of stamping, you can actually load your images on. And if you're doing mass production, that makes it so easy because you can just keep going. Alright, we have that all done. So let's pull this out. Put this back together. And take my cloth and lay it back over here. Alright, so now we can go ahead and do our coloring. Now I have some crumb cake and some pecan pie. I have some smoky slate and some real red. I also want to pull up a blue. I want to put a little bit of blue on this, and I think I'm going to use the light Azure Afternoon. So let's start out with our light crumb cake. Where's my crumb cake? I knew I had a light one, or did I put it up? Let's see if I put it up. I did. It's back over here hiding out. Alright, we're going to start off with our light crumb cake. And I'm going to color, oh, I need an orange as well. So I'm going to grab a pumpkin pie, and I'm going to use the dark one. I'm going to go in first and do his little, let me zoom y'all back in just a hair. Oops, away. I'm going to do his little beak because I want that to be orange. Just like that. And then I'm going to take that light crumb cake and I'm going to use the brush tip. So I want to color him kind of all over light crumb cake. Then we're going to come back and put some dark in here and there. Now I'm not going to go up on his feather because I want to make that darker. We're going to do the light through his body. And I'm just going to do little circles and just get some color down. And you see how this lightens as it dries. So the color that you put down is not going to be the color that it ends up being. So it will dry just a bit. Okay, now we're not going to get too far away from this one because we're going to come back to it, but I want to use a little bit of the dark crumb cake and I'm going to go around the edges and anywhere these little registration marks are at. It's like the artist gives you some a cheat sheet, so to speak. So I'm going to put a little dark right there. And a little under his belly, because you know this is where you get a shadow. A little bit around the wing. Maybe a little bit around the glass. On the top of his head. Something like that. Now I'm going to use that light crumb cake and I'm going to come back and kind of blend that all together. So I think I'm going to use the bullet tip for this. And as you can see, when you start coloring that, it blends together really nicely. Something about like that. And then we're going to come in with our light. Let's do the dark first. We're going to do the dark pecan pie. And I am going to go right around the wing on the inside. And then I'm going to make some little dashes here where that darker's at. And then we're going to come back in and blend that out using the light pecan pie. And I'm going to use my brush tip for this. Something like that. Okay, now for our books. I want the edge of those papers to have this crumb cake color. So I'm going to go in and just color the pages a light crumb cake. And this is very forgiving, so as long as you stay within your lines, this is such easy coloring to do. Like that. And then we need to put some color on our books. So I'm going to use the blue, and this is the light azure afternoon, and I think I'm going to do the top book blue. So let's make that top cover like so. And then I'm going to come in with the gray granite, and this is the dark, and I want to do the ends of the book like there and here. And then we're going to use that lighter gray. And this is, again, this is a light smoky slate. And I'm going to come in with just the brush tip, and I'm going to go down the spine of the book. Like that. And then I'm going to do the light pumpkin pie. Right in there. Then we'll go with that dark pumpkin pie, pecan pie, I'm sorry, I keep calling it pumpkin. And we're going to go right in here and color this dark. And then the last one I want to do with the red, so I'm going to do the dark red on the ends. Maybe we'll do a little bit of gray on the next little binding. This is the dark. And then we're going to do that lighter red in the middle. So this is our light real red. And there are our books all colored. And look how cute that came together. I love that. I think it's so cute. So now let's get our card back over. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop this up on here. But what I want to look at before I do that, I want to look at a sentiment stamp set. And I pulled out this one called Silly Goose. And it's actually not in the yellow sticker anymore. It should have a blue sticker on it because it is in our annual catalog, and that was my mistake. And I think I want to say sending a big honking thanks, because birds honk, geese honk, and I think we can get away with both of those. So, or do I want the I'm here for you? Decisions. I'm going to go with the original one. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp that right up here in this top corner. So maybe right about there. So for this one, I'm just going to bring up a stamp block. And I want to get this as nice and even as I can. And for this, I am going to use the VersaFine. And this is a pigment ink, so it's going to be nice and dark and rich. And we are going to move this over here so I don't put my arm in it. And I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to try lining it up like that. Just like that. I think that is so pretty. I love the richness of that ink. It's so beautiful. So I'm going to take this and spray just a tiny bit more of my stamp cleaner on it. And I could bring out my Stampin' Scrub, but I figured I've already got this card together here, and I don't want to move everything to bring the Stampin' Scrub, so I'm just going to do a little bit and clean that off really quick. And now we're ready to put some dimensionals on the back of this. And we're going to raise it up and then put it onto our black piece. And I think this is going to really make everything pop. So I'm going to put one on each of the 4 corners first. And then we'll decide where else we want one. I think I'm going to go here. Oops. I'm going to go right there and then right over here. And I'm going to put 2 more because I really want it to be anchored. I'm going to put one right here and one right here. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool because I can pull these off really quick with this. And I say that and then I drop one. But normally these come off really handy like this. And that is good. So now we can bring our black piece over, and all we're going to do is I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to set this down about 1/8 of an inch from the top. And you might say, why 1/8 of an inch? Because I know I cut this at 1/4 inch bigger, so that would make it 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So there's that piece. And then we can take our white piece and we can actually glue this down to it. Oh, I can really see how crooked that is now. Let's try this again. I think if you get these up pretty quickly, you can reposition sometimes. Okay, we did pick up a little bit of the black cardstock, but that's all right. I'm going to use some regular liquid glue, and I'm going to put this back down and hopefully get it straighter this time. So just on these dimensionals, I'm going to put liquid glue. And sometimes if you want to use some liquid glue on your dimensionals before you stick them down, it will give you that little bit of wiggle room that you need. So I'm going to leave that on that white because that will really help me to see exactly where I'm putting this. So there and there. And there and there. That looks pretty good. That's much better. Isn't it funny how sometimes you will think you got it on straight, and then once you lay it against another color, you're like, uh-oh, I did not get that where I wanted it. Alright, I'm going to press these down really good. And then we are going to glue this straight down to this piece. And I'm just going to use some liquid glue and go across the back. Liquid glue works really good when you're putting it down on a piece of paper that's been embossed, because it gets into all those little nooks and crannies. So I like my liquid glue for that reason. So I'm going to put this down right in the center as best I can. And I thought I silenced that phone. Okay, I did that time. Sorry about that. I'm going to try to remember from now on to get that phone completely silenced before I do videos, because it can be distracting to me as well as you. Alright, so there is going to be our little card. I think it's so stinking cute. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of this. And I'm making my big circles all the way around and in the middle. And then I'm going to turn this around like so. And just sit this down about like that. Alright, that is good to go. Now we just need a white mat for the inside, and I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of white off of this other piece that we did. If I thought about it, I would have done it at the same time, because you're going to need 2 of those. You're going to need 2 that are 4 and 5 1/4. 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to cut that like that, and then turn it, line it up at 5 1/4, 5 1/4, and slice it. And then we can decide what we want to put on the inside of this. And I'm trying to think if I want to do the little bird in the corner. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll do the little bird right here. And I need a sentiment, so what am I going to get? Sending a big thanks. I think I'm going to do the typewriter. This is just my type stamp set, and I love this because you got the paper right there where it can look like you are pulling the paper through the typewriter. So let's do that. That'll be fun. So I'm going to put this right here. Right about there. And then let's see. Oh, this is a piece that looks like, okay, let's stamp the typewriter first. That is so stinking cute. Love it. I might not do the bird since I'm doing this in here. I may just rethink my little birdie. Yep. I'm going to rethink the birdie because I think this is so cute. And we are going to bring it to about there. And I am going to use my stamp positioning tool for this also because this is a nice solid black image. More than likely we're going to have to stamp it more than once. So for all those reasons, I am going to bring my paper up. Let's turn this around like that. And I'm going to put this up in that top corner just like I did before. All the way over and up. And we're going to put a magnet here and one here. And I'm going to go ahead and pick up my stamp. And see, it does lift the paper. That's the stickiness of a brand new photopolymer. Let's get it up in that corner really good. And let's turn it over, and I'm going to do it in the VersaFine because this is a nice, really dark ink, and I think it's going to play well. See how pigmented this ink is in comparison, and it doesn't pull or look like it's trying to separate like the dye ink. But so dye ink is a water-based ink. So I'm going to bring this over now and position it back where it goes. And give that a nice press. Something like that. Oh, that's so pretty. But it looks like I could do with inking it one more time. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring it over. And I'm going to ink it again. I'm going to line it up and set it right back down. Give it a good press. Just like that. Oh, that's much better. Isn't that so pretty? Now I'm going to take this out. I'm going to go ahead and spritz my stamp because that's a really dark pigment ink on there, and I want to clean it up as best I can. It's going to stain. That's the nature of a photopolymer stamp. You can see even after cleaning, I still have some residue of ink, but that does not hurt the stamp. It stains it, but it does not hurt it. So don't be alarmed if you use the VersaFine and you don't get all of your ink off of your stamp. It's normal. Very, very normal. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up because we're going to stamp the other pieces just using a stamp block. Now this is going to go in right about there. And I'm going to get a stamp block to pick that up with. like that. And I am going to ink this up. And we're going to put that, line it up even with the in between those two little hoopy looking things. I don't know what you call them. I haven't typed on a typewriter in ages. I'm going to go right there and press that down and see how it's looking like the piece of paper is coming up out of the typewriter. Love that. And we are going to put, oh my goodness, you can do the thank you, or how about for you, or hi. Let's see if the for you will fit in there. It should. I'm going to do a different color. I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do red. So I'm going to set that over there, and I'm going to grab my real red ink pad. And I'm going to pick that up like so and ink it. I think the red would be really cute on this. For you. Love that. That is so cute. So very cute. I think I could do the bird in the corner after all. So let's do our little birdie right there. And again, I'm going to go back to my memento because we will color him. And we'll pick him up like that. And we'll, I wonder if he would look cute sitting up here on top. I don't know. I'm going to leave him here. Very pretty. And I think since we stamped that in red, no, I want to do in blue. And I'm going to use the, I think I'm going to use the Tahitian tide on him. I'm going to use dark and light. I'm going to go with the lighter. Right in here. And let's do this one. A little bit darker. And I'm going to do his beak in the red. And we can put this on the inside of our card and we are done. Just like that. Alright, let me move some of my stuff over here. I got so much stuff on my desk, y'all. Alright, I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal. And let's lay this in like so. Give it a press. And there is our cute little card using the bird's eye view and also the Just My Type. I did throw in a sentiment from Silly Goose. So those were my 3 stamp sets that I used. And we used some inks, an embossing folder, and some Stampin' Blends. So is that not the cutest little card ever? I love it. I think the birdies are so cute. Who wouldn't love to get this card? I think it's absolutely adorable. I hope you do. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please think about doing so. Doesn't cost anything to subscribe. You can ring that bell and get notified every time I put up something new. So God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Father in heaven. He is worthy. Until next time, God bless and keep you. Love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.